Yo guys, what's up? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about Mirage retakes from both the T perspective and the CT perspective. And if you've been watching my recent videos, you probably know that this is a different microphone. I hope it sounds good. It sounds pretty good in my editing software, so if you guys like it, be sure to leave a comment below telling me if my mic is good or bad. And if it's shit, please tell me how I can fix it. So before I talk about retakes, I just want to mention that every retake is going to be different. You're going to have different pieces of utility. You're going to have different people alive. And there's certain scenarios where you really just shouldn't go for a retake regardless of the situation. So saving is always an option on CT side, and the Ts are heavily advantaged in most retakes. So keep that in mind when I'm talking about CT side on this map, or any map to be completely honest. Before I get too far into the video, here's a quick word from today's sponsor. Do you hate your skins? Does your combo just not stand out anymore like it used to? Does your Opium Duo Q teammate not want to be seen anywhere near you without Mason Margiela gloves? Skins Monkey is the easiest automated trade bot website so that you can get new skins right now. Skins Monkey has a giant inventory of any item you could ever want. Just put in your price point, pick your old dirty skins that you don't want anymore, and then boom, just like that, you're dripped out. If your trade's worth more than $100, Skins Monkey is giving you $5 for free by using my code BIRD. That's B-I-R-D, BIRD. If you're looking to just buy skins, Skins Monkey is giving you a 30% bonus with a 5% deposit bonus when you use my promo code BIRD. So for every $100 you deposit, you're gonna get $135 in your account. It's that simple. Skins Monkey also does free giveaways daily, weekly, and monthly, and you can get free money right now by using my code BIRD. Thank you to Skins Monkey for sponsoring today's video. Okay guys, so starting off with A site, there's two ways to get into A site as a T side, right? You can either do a full execute from the ramp side of the map, coming out ramp and palace and not coming through connector, or doing an A split where you're coming through connector, coming maybe through window and jungle, and also ramp, so you're splitting from two different positions. And the theme of A site on this map is extra control. So if we think about the standard control that you get when you take just the bomb site, let's say you throw the standard right side smokes, right? You smoke stairs and you smoke jungle. Anyone can throw these smokes, right? They're very simple. Once you get out onto the bomb site, you're going to have control that kind of ends at CT spawn, because usually if a CT is playing here, he'll try to get one kill and then fall back and play to live, right? Which means that you're going to be kind of stuck in the site. And to make T-side retakes almost unwinnable for the CTs to come back and try to win, you need to take some kind of extra control, whether that be CT or the jungle / connector area. And so if you came into the bomb site by doing a split, that probably means that somebody on your team is already in the jungle or connector position. And if you're able to get into A site and plant the bomb, it's almost an unlosable round for the Ts in a lot of scenarios. The CTs are going to have a really tough time trying to clear people out of jungle. So if a T ends up parking themselves right here with this vent broken and holding this kind of angle, as long as their other teammates don't peek and die for no reason, the round is almost unlosable for the Ts, because the bomb is always going to be planted in the open for them, and it's just going to be super easy to outplay in a 1v1, right? If the guy taps, you can kind of jiggle and hide and just wait to see if he's off it, and then just like peek this guy and kill him for free. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about what you do after you con split, because it's pretty self-explanatory, but other things from when I talk about the ramp execute are going to apply to the connector one, so you should kind of just get these general principles down regardless of how you got into the bomb site. So before I even talk about the retake ideas on T side, let's talk about where you want to plant. So a lot of new players will come to this spot since it's called default, and they'll just think, oh, I should plant here immediately. You should only be planting in this position if you're forced to, okay? So if you're in like a 1 versus 5 or 1 versus 4 and you want to have the best chance of getting the bomb down, you take a gamble that no one's going to peek you CT and you plant like this. And you do this because you're completely obscured from all these angles on connector side. And that's really the only reason you would plant here. All of the other rounds, you want to be planting in the open, because what that does is it allows your team to peek the bomb from multiple angles, and the CTs have to make a decision of how they're going to stick the bomb. Let's say you get left in a 1 versus 1 and the bomb is planted here at default, and a CT comes out and you're playing in ramp or something, right? The CT can tap the bomb, hold palace, wait for you to run, and then just kill you for free, you know? So that's a very common play for CTs to do, since they know that those are the only angles that you can come from, right? If you plant out in the open here, like this is a really insane plant spot right here. FaZe Clan uses this a lot because you're obscured from cat, but it's also open to jungle, con, and CT. If you peek a little bit, you can plant right here. This is like the meta default plant. This is where like most people plant in high elo. there's this plant spot here, which is exposed completely to connector, and you can get away with a lot of like jump spot plays, weird like outplays like this, and force the CT to get off the bomb if he taps it. You can plant here, which is very similar to this plant. They're kind of the same thing, honestly. This one is just a little bit more safe from connector. You know, if you're trying to not get spammed or something, it might be harder for the CTs to spam you there. And then if you want a safer plant that's for CT spawn, you can just plant like this. It's similar to default, but it's more in the open, right? It's exposed to ramp, palace, and CT instead of just palace and CT. So let's say, again, you threw the right side smokes like this, and your team is able to come out, you know, molly under balk, sight's clear, right? What I want you to do is, if you're the third or fourth player in, you want to try to flash off CT spawn, because what is most likely happening is a CT is coming in and rotating and trying to get a free pick on somebody, like, you know, playing here or over peeking and trying to go way too fast, right? So by throwing this flash, you're going to push the CTs back and prevent them from fighting. At the same time, you're gaining more space to play from. So typically Ts will come and try to play like this with 1 or 2 people, you know, head stacked like this with one guy here and one guy here, and one guy can play anti-flash and then fight these people trying to play the retake. And this fight is very good for the Ts. It's pretty hard for the CTs to do anything unless they come with, you know, 3 people and perfect swing off this flash. And this is the default case, right? So if you flash CT and push the CTs off, you can also play in missiles here, expecting that flash to come out, go for a pick, or have your teammate flash again for you, right? And try to kill people when you know exactly what they're doing, right? So pushing CTs away from CT spawn is a really effective way to win a lot of retakes. And then you can do something similar for jungle. If you're coming out A and these smokes are up, you can flash through the smoke, but it's a lot more dangerous, as any flash that you throw through the smoke is gonna not be perfect, and a lot of people are gonna be able to tuck. So a lot of people are gonna be playing like this, and if they get blinded, they can tuck into an angle like this, and it's actually very safe. So if you get flashed through the smoke, like it comes through and you jump through, right? It's going to be hard for you to clear people who are in this before they get unblinded. And these people are going to be able to kill you, right? So flashing for jungle isn't as great, but you still can do it. It's an option. So let's say it's a standard retake. You might have pushed CT back, right? And you want to play the best spots. Where are the best spots to play? So the best spots for you to gravitate into are palace, ramp, and firebox. These are positions where you're playing off your teammates' information and contact to try to get a kill and live, because these positions are all places where you can peek off the tap of the CT and outplay them with mind games, because the other player doesn't know exactly where you're going to be. So in 1v1s or 1v2s or 2v2s, these are amazing positions that you should be gravitating towards right after your team takes the bomb site. So don't feel like you're baiting if you stay and hold the flank, or play in firebox after your team takes CT control. It's a very important place to be playing from. And then the spots where people are going to be taking first contact are sandwich, under balcony, and Tetris, because these are positions that are more open and you're trying to bait the CTs into peeking into multiple angles at once. So let's say you're playing Tetris, right? And you see people coming out here and you fight them once, you know, so people are swinging and you fight them like once and get a kill and you live. What this does is it prompts your other teammates in their power positions to start peeking, because they can maybe pick off somebody who's focused on you, right? So you're really just trying to lock in those crossfires and make it hard for the CTs who are under a time constraint to come back and win the round, okay? Because that's what you have to remember. There's a time constraint on retakes. They can't take all the time in the world, you know, and wait until the bomb goes off, because they're going to lose the round. And for any future videos I make on retakes, this is a really key point to remember, that the Ts are more often than not advantaged in retakes, because the CTs have to clear almost every angle in order to defuse the bomb. And there are only very kind of niche scenarios where you can smoke the bomb and defuse it, where the CTs are a little bit advantaged. So retakes are kind of where things get crazy. You just have to remember that if you play them right on any map, the Ts are going to win a lot more than the CTs are. Okay, so final note on T side, I want to show some helpful pieces of utility that you can throw to push the CTs back in jungle and re-smoke CT if you're not able to take CT. So the easiest one is from firebox. If you have a smoke, you just come here and aim like anywhere at this slant line and it'll smoke like this. So this will block off sight lines from people who want to, you know, see into sight and kind of peek. They might get like a jump up angle, but it's CS2, so it's not going to be as strong as in CSGO. If you're coming out of ramp, this is a really easy nade set to kind of throw right as the smokes are about to fade or right before it, because it pushes the CTs into making a decision to come through the top connector smoke or to just save. So you see this white splotch right here, you just aim at the right and do a jump throw. and then you see this end of the building, you can just walk forward and left click throw, and it'll molly jungle here. It might spread to the cubby, but these nades will force the CTs to either come out and fight like this, or just choose to save if they're really heavily disadvantaged, because it's going to be very hard to win the round when you're behind these nades. Okay, so now let's talk about how to play A as a CT in order to play retake effectively. So retaking A site is very nade dependent, so it's really important that you have at least a smoke or a molly to make this as easy as possible, and then maybe a flash. There's a lot of retakes that happen without flashes because Ts will like to peek and lose fights and kind of give the round away. So if you have a Molotov or an HE nade, I really want you to just spam them at firebox, because this is a position that's very hard to clear as a CT. And if you're able to molly and nade this person and kill them for free, then it's one of the power positions that's completely shut out from the round. The other thing that you can do is either smoke the bomb, like let's say it's planted here, you can smoke the bomb, or you can smoke things like Palace, but generally I would recommend to smoke the bomb, because what it does is it obscures the angle that you're sticking in, and it makes the T overcommit to try to find where you are in the smoke, and it lets your teammates get free kills on people who, you know, they're focused on the ninja defuse, right? So if a guy's coming out Palace trying to kill a guy on the bomb, you can just peek him and kill him. Same thing with ramp, right? It's going to be very easy for you to do that if the bomb is smoked. This is a mistake a lot of beginners make. They like to smoke a choke point when the bomb isn't smoked, okay? If you have a second smoke or something, smoking a choke point is good, but you always want to try to smoke the bomb whenever you can. Because it, again, like I said, not to repeat myself, but it obfuscates the bomb and where you're defusing from. It's very, very important. And so if you're the A anchor playing here and you want to play retake, like there's a style of playing retake A, right? If your team wants you to play in a way that to where you're going to try to retake the bomb site later, you don't want to be playing in the site like here, because it's very likely that you playing in here, you're going to die. Okay, so let's say your team said in the freeze time says, can you play retake A and just live? You're going to be playing positions that are more so in this area, so ticket or triple with a smoke, right? Because if you have a smoke, you can just drop it at your side and then like get away. And you're trying to live for the retake for when that happens, because having your body in the round is much more impactful than if you died and pushed the round into like a 4v4 or a 3v3, because now the Ts have so much map control and space that they're able to use to their advantage, where the CTs are going to have a hard time recapturing that space to use to their advantage, okay? So remember, playing retake means to play to live. All right, so let's move on to B site. So B site is going to be a lot harder for the CTs to retake, because they have to come through these very tight choke points where they're exposed to a lot of angles, right? The CTs will have to most likely come through door, where they're exposed to this, this, and this, and then when they come out, they're exposed to cat, E-box, boost box, and then all of these three things again, and this angle, right? This is very hard for the CTs to come out of door, which is why a lot of teams will end up saving when you go B and you're in a man advantage. So like 5 versus 4 for the Ts, the CTs almost stand no chance because of the crossfires that you can get up to on B site. Make it very, very hard for the CTs to come back into the round. So the best positions for you to play are bench, apps, E-box, and default. And so these are kind of the power positions, because you lock the CTs out of everything and you're playing in those angles that they're scared of, right? Where, you know, they can be peaked from anywhere at once. And apps is absolutely the strongest place to be in a retake, because you can win 1 versus 4s from this position by just killing somebody who's defusing the bomb too late, okay? Bench is kind of a second contact position, unlike apps where you're kind of full baiting the entire round. Bench, you're trying to play off your teammates. So you're playing in an angle like this, let's say. You're trying to, you know, peek them if they run out window or try to get to empty pillar. You can just play behind here like this, peek cat for free. You see how you're covered from all these angles on the right? You can peek cat like this, right, and kill a guy. And you can also peek door on a surprise timing and try to kill somebody. You know, maybe he's like opping you. You could just destroy this guy, you know, stuff like that. If you play E-box or default, you're playing these kind of first contact positions where, you know, you're trying to like look for a fight and hide. It's similar to playing under balcony or sandwich on A site. You're trying to kind of be the first person to be seen by the other team and allow your teammates to peek and just get free kills. So if you're playing here, you maybe get 1 kill or 2, right? Your bench teammate comes and he just swings and gets a free kill, or somebody playing Van swings, gets a free kill, right? Just like peeks this, gets a kill, you know, stuff like that. Since the normal B execute will come in usually and market window will be smoked, you can throw a pug smoke from a lot of places, just like bench, like this. Since CS2, it's very forgiving. You can just kind of burger the smoke and it'll work. Or if you're from default, there's a set lineup here. So it's might be hard to see in the YouTube video, but there's a black splotch right here You just aim at that and jump throw, and it'll perfect smoke market window. So what a lot of people forget is that cat is the other angle where CTs will predominantly come from. And so if you have another smoke and market window just got re-smoked, you can just simply throw a smoke right here, kind of anywhere. The smokes are so forgiving. And look at how oppressive this smoke is for the CTs who are trying to come in, right? This smoke is going to be almost impossible to jump through because you have to hard clear this angle. You're exposed to bench and all these, you know, apps and stuff. You're exposed to so many things that it's almost not worth it to go through this smoke. And if this keeps getting re-smoked, it's extremely annoying for the CTs to try to come through. Obviously, they can boost over it, but you really shouldn't be dying to boost. You almost shouldn't even fight this as a T, because if you don't give the CTs any impact with this boost, then it's useless for them and they still have the same problems from going through the cat smoke, okay? With all that being said, now I'll talk about where to plant. So this is the best plant spot on B site right here. This is called the cat plant, and it's because it's exposed to bench. It's exposed kind of to van, right? If you're van, you can like walk out on this guy diffusing. It's exposed completely to apps, right? If it's planted out here, even if they have to stick it from here, you can still see it, right? And it's just generally in the open everywhere. So this is most definitely the best plant. If you can get this plant off, absolutely do it. The next best plant is right here at default. This is the like most standard plant you can possibly do. It's exposed to balcony and apps, and you can a lot of the times see a guy diffusing right when you come out of balcony. This is kind of a free round for you if you can kill the guy who's like off the bomb and then just kill this guy on the bomb. This is a good plant spot, obviously. This is an okay plant spot, but it's not really open to anything, except one of the benefits of this plant spot is that if the CTs come up and try to defuse, they can't really hold balk at the same time, right? So if they come and like tap the bomb here and you're ready to swing on their tap, it's like an instant kill because you know that this guy has to be looking at the bomb in order to defuse it here. And then this is more of a niche plant spot, but if your teammate is in market and you want to plant for him, you can plant it right here. And a lot of people don't do this because it's pretty rare, but this plant spot, it being planted right here, the CT just, he can't win, right? If a guy's in market, there's almost no way for him to know where he's coming from. Like all three of these angles, it's pretty hard for the CT to predict that, so he's probably going to tap it, and right as he taps it, you can peek from market, and it's pretty free. And a little bonus trick for you guys, a lot of people don't do this, but it's never failed me when I get boosted here in a retake. And so as a T, if you're able to hold door like this, it's completely unexpected, right? The CTs coming out door will always think like, oh, this guy's gonna be van here or here, and he's gonna be E-box. They never clear this, because in order to jiggle this, they have to pray that they don't get peeked at the same time while peeking this, and then, you know, it kind of stops their flow. So this is always a free kill, if not a double kill. And if you want to just jump off, you can after getting a kill here, right? You can just kind of like escape immediately. I would really recommend just while your teammate's planting to just jump on his head and get boosted here for free without even asking. This will win you a round or two or three. I guarantee you, and if it doesn't, you can dislike the video. Okay, so not to say that retaking B is completely impossible, but as a CT, it's really, really hard, and the other team has to fuck up really bad in order to lose while holding B site, especially if you're in an even like 4v4, 5v5, 3v3. It's really hard for the Ts to lose that. If you're in a 2v2, it's a bit different because there's too many angles for the Ts to hold. So, you know, you can maybe slip in and get a round win. In a 2v2, obviously a 1v1, you kind of have to go for it. But yeah, a lot of the times, so if you're in a man disadvantage on the CT side, you're absolutely going to be saving when they go B. It's kind of foolish not to. It's a bit of boring strike, but if you want to win more games and have a better chance in the next round, then try saving. So the things that you're looking for the Ts to mess up are peeking you. And so, like I said, in the T side part of B side, there's so many angles that the CTs have to worry about when they're coming out to be peeked from that it's almost impossible to hold. So what'll typically happen in a successful retake is you'll get your opper to come here and try to post on one of these angles, you know, try to guess where the other player is going to be. If they have info, you can like hold van and stuff and hold for this peak while your rifler comes out here and tries to walk out and get it like an entry on a guy E-box. And then hopefully what'll happen is if you get the entry successfully and you don't die, somebody will try to peek. And then that's when it starts to fall apart for the Ts, and they're making a big mistake, right? And so since this person is kind of required to, you know, get a kill, you know, kind of play an off angle, get a kill. If he doesn't, the Ts it's starting to get scary for them. But you have to remember that the Ts have all these things in their back pocket with angles that they can play, kind of how lame they can be. It's still pretty hard for the Ts to lose if they hit their shots just going 1 for 1 in all their super powerful positions. So if the Ts let you get out here into, you know, back sight and start kind of like gaining space on them, that means that they're messing up and you can actually go for this retake because they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in a proper way. If the T's are going to give you a bunch of space and not really contest you, then try to take it and maybe the retake will work. Also, your retake can't just be from market. So you need to have at least 1 or 2 people flanking cat or not being in market with your team, right? If all 5 of you go market, you're just gonna get mowed down and you kind of stand no chance. So somebody needs to come and play kind of second or, you know, try to go for a fight here. But this fight is really, really bad for the CTs. The fight from apps is kind of okay, but if somebody is playing and like T's can play in angles like this, bro, like what are you supposed to do against this if you're CT flanking, you know? So again, if you're able to get a bunch of space and walk up all the way apps, you know, maybe Molly Van or like get super close here, then absolutely do it. But if they're not going to let you do that, then a save is probably necessary. And then, like I said, if the T's are doing something that is like incorrect, you should try to abuse it at all costs. So if they plant cat poorly, then go for the ninja, right? Like try to stick it like this. If it's like planted back here, because if you're back here, then the other team is going to have to swing like super wide to try to kill you. And if you're in a 2 versus 1 for you advantage, then try to abuse that as much as possible. Same thing with default. A lot of times you can get away with like going for a ninja diffuse, like if it's planted here in a really stupid way. You know, just you have to pray for the other team to make a mistake and punish the mistake, right? You can't just play, you know, do like fundamental things and you'll always win. B site, you have to be praying for a mistake from the T's. Okay, so that's my guide on T side retakes. I kind of went over everything. There's not really much more to talk about. Even like advanced tactics, they kind of boil down to the same things. Retakes are very simple. There's not much nuance to them. It's just all about hitting your shots and playing in the proper way and knowing that the T's are advantaged, so you should play like they're advantaged and play in the ways that you know that you're going to win the round more often than not. Okay, if you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe because I upload tons of guides and I've uploaded previous T side and CT side guides for all the maps at this point. I'm still finishing doing all of the T side full map guides, but those are going to come in the future. And leave a comment for what map I should talk about next, whether it's the full guides or retakes, all that stuff. I read every comment that I get, so everything is appreciated. And yeah, that's all I have for this video. Peace.